Yes. Hi, Maya. Okay, so you can hear me. I'm not going to put my video on because I'm not sure about the connection I have actually. It's not super secure, so it's just a co-working space. So can you see the slides as well, ladies? That should be sharing. Yes? Okay, all right. So we have Janet, Vicky, Maya. Hi, ladies. We'll get started. So today's orientation call, I'm super happy to be here with you ladies. Yes, it's just the title. Thank you, Maya. And so today we're going to go in depth about orientation and how to prepare yourself for the program. But before we start that, I wanted to share with you, my intention for you for this program. First off, I really wanted to let you know that I really honor you for making the commitment and the investment in yourself. I am very happy that you are in this program and that you made this decision. And I know that for some of you, that might have been challenging, whether it was for time reason or whether it was for financial reasons. I really, really honor you for that. My intention is that you learn so much about yourself, that you have a ton of breakthroughs, and that you really come out of this program completely transformed. So this is really my strongest intention for you for this program, is to really come out completely transformed. And so right now, I would love for you to now think, and write a little bit about your intentions. So take a second, and I would like you to take a minute to set your intention for starting this program. So if you have a piece of paper to take notes, feel free to write that down. What are the 2 or 3 first intention that are coming up? It might be clarity around what you do and your services. It might be implementing and executing strategies to grow your list. You maybe sign up your first high-paying clients, being more confident on the sales calls, or getting your offer out online, your signature offer. Maybe having fulfillment of purpose, a better life, go beyond the business as well. So think about it. Really focus and be present with this intention. I really want you to take a minute to really feel that and really anchor into that. So if you want to share in the chat, I can also read to others what are your intentions. If you feel like it, if you don't feel like it, just let me know. So some of you are saying, steady income, trusting your capability, more sold clients. Creating and executing a successful list with building strategies, hiring assistants. That's a big one. Having at least one new client per month to work with one-on-one. And clarity, yes. Clarity brings confidence. Clarity is really a big priority. All right. So I know most of you know me, but for some of you who don't know me, I just wanted to very briefly saying, you know, what was my story in a nutshell. So most of you know by now that I am French. I was into a corporate job. I had an engineering diploma, got into the flavor industry. And the thing is that in the flavor industry, I was really happy. I was expat in Switzerland, and then I was expat in Cincinnati, Ohio, up to the point where, you know, you arrive into your career where what you do, your progress and your efforts are not completely rewarded, because it depends on how many people are on the above you, and so it needs to have a space available above you for you to be able to progress. And so the thing is, I started to get frustrated as well, because I was into communication towards the end of my career, communication manager, and it was a lot of politics. And so that's when I realized, you know, that there must be more to this life, and because I really wasn't into buying into politics of the office. And so the thing is, at the same time, I had my niece in France, who I think she was 2 or 3 years old at that time. So, sorry, 1 or 2 years old. And so, you know, at the beginning when I was going in French, she was just a newborn, so it didn't really make any difference for us or not. But as she was growing up, I wanted to spend more time, and I wanted her to see me more than a weekend a year. In addition to that, there was also the fact that I basically had a doctor's appointment where it was the first time that my doctor said, like, well, we need to do other tests. So as we all have ladies into the group, I can say, you know, it was a cyst on my ovary. And so the thing is, for me, it was really the first time that a doctor at a checkup appointment was saying that he has found something and we needed to do more tests. So that was really, and plus it was in the US, so it was super scary, just the fact that, you know, I didn't know how the system was working, surgery was working, I just knew it was super expensive. And then I basically got super scared, and I was like, okay, hold on, like, I need to figure out what I want to do with my life, because that thing about going to work and corporate and not being with my nieces as often as I want, and it's cold in Cincinnati, it just didn't do it for me. And so basically that was kind of like a wake-up call. The cyst kind of like went on by himself, so that was good. But I was really woken up. That's exactly when I went to Playa del Carmen, and as some of you know, then when I was in Playa del Carmen, it was really, you know, very different. And I was like, wow, I would really like to be living here and being a digital nomad, so that I can go and see my niece more often. And I wanted also, you know, as far as my corporate purpose, I mean, I still love food. I really love, you know, food flavors for 10 years, but at the same time, I did a yoga teacher training and started thinking more organic. The fact that my corporation was doing some flavors that was, you know, going to Pringles and Cheetos and all of those junk food wasn't really common. And I didn't know at that time I wanted to be a coach, but without the social pressure, I was able to really listen to myself and see, okay, what do I like to do, and do more of that. And so that's how coaching came about. It was in my mind already, apparently, for 4 or 5 years. When I asked my friends, you know, back in France, they're like, oh yeah, you were talking about that for a long time, but I wasn't able to see it at that time. It was just one idea in a mess of plenty of other ideas. And so then, you know, I got my training in coaching and online businesses. And I went also into, you know, really defining my niche, my ideal client. And so I've been there, if you ladies do not have your ideal client yet, I want to let you know that it is a process. And so it's okay. And your niche is going to evolve because you are going to evolve as well. But so to me, it took me 6 months, to find my niche. And I can, like, looking back now, I can clearly tell you that I was playing small at the beginning with my niche. And so the thing is, I really evolved, and it's about being bold and really owning your niche and really owning the fact that you want to be taking the space that you're meant to be in life. And so sometimes, your niche can be scary, or you could be like, oh my God, I'm wondering if I can help these people or if I can get the results. That happens to all of us. And so the thing is, it's a process. Don't rush. Like, it's really a maturation inside. I know Vicky, had, as we're working privately, she definitely did super awesome when she took a week, and that's why also I wanted to have the modules in between that are like 2 weeks, because the thing is not like you're filling in a questionnaire and you know what your ideal client is. You really need to feel it inside yourself. And so the thing is, you really want to take the time to do the research and to feel inside of yourself what lights you up better. And you will see, a lot of time into this program, we'll think about, is that fear or is this really truly passion for you? So the thing is, sometimes we play small and we are scared, and that's sometimes we make decisions based on that. So if you've read the right questions from the day before, you have 10 questions to help you really define, like, am I playing, the entire being and awesomeness that I am, or am I playing small because I'm a bit scared or my soul is a bit scared? Whatever is your religion, of course, but I'll just say universe and soul as a general term. So then, of course, I took time to find my ideal client and to refine. And as you are coaching with more people, you are also defining it, because you might be wondering, oh, okay, my ideal client went into this type and I got that person on the phone and I really didn't like the vibe. Well, then this is where your ideal client ends. So it's always an exploration. Sometimes, you do meet, like when I'm in Playa del Carmen, a lot of guys actually come, for business support to me. And so that's the thing. Like, I could have said to them, like, well, no, I only coach women. But the thing is, I was also exploring, the boyfriend of one of my clients actually was like, well, I saw so much difference in my girlfriend when she was working with you. I really want to see what could be the impact when I work directly with you, because you working with her also changed for good my life. And so the thing is, that's how I explored coaching guys as well. Now, do I like it? It depends. I have to tell you, I'm very selective. But the thing is, there is an ideal client that you're going to have on the, like, online, and there is some other people that you will attract. And so I really highly encourage you to explore that, especially if you're at the beginning. But it's constant exploration. I hope that makes sense. It was a bit of a diversion on, like, a hijack of my story, but I just want to let you know that it is normal. Sometimes it takes time. Like, having a business and becoming a coach is really a journey in itself. And so it's not just, in a month you're all ready and you have everything you need. So, I made my first 10K month in my first year, and then more after that. But the thing is, the secret I have identified is that, one, for sure, being clear on your ideal client, being clear on your messaging as well. And messaging, again, it's a muscle. So you will have to post different content and see what resonates. And as you're doing different content, the storytelling that I am specialized in, for example, it was first a challenge. Then it became a 3-part webinar. I think I ran it twice as a challenge. And I can tell you I get better and better each time, just because there is other ways that I found to explain the subject and to enrich the subject. And so your content, you are going to feel like you're saying the same thing over and over. But the thing is, you're getting better at saying it so that it's even more, it has more effect on your audience. Does that make sense, ladies? It's really like, teachers in school. It's like and plus, not everybody is going to, not everybody is listening to you all the time. Some people, it says that they need to hear 7 or 8 times the same thing to really master it and to really get what you're saying. So there is different level of understanding that people will have when they are listening to you. The first time, you're going to grab some knowledge out of this program, for example, and then as you are re-listening or rereading the modules, all of that, you will be able to capture another level. And that's why also there is a week in between the Q&A call and the teaching material, because you will be able to also maturate at that point during the week. So that's about it about my story. And so now, yes, I am really designed the life that I wanted. The U.S. citizenship recently, for those of you who know, has been the point, of, I think it was like the last point of this 3-year design of my life. And so now I'm really excited about designing the 3 next year, knowing that I have it and that I can travel anywhere in the world or be anywhere in the world. So here are a couple of lessons that I have learned and that I wanted to share with you. The formula for struggle into your business has several ingredients, like underestimating yourself, just being interested, just being about the money, the profit. Having one foot out is also formula for struggle. I've seen it into my clients. I've seen it into colleagues. Blaming others doesn't serve any purposes. And I'll be very strong on that, ladies. If I see one of you, like blaming the rest of your world, etc., that you are the creator of your own world, and so you can change your world. So there is no blaming others. There is always finding solution. Waiting for invitation is usually also a formula for struggle. I want you to be very proactive and really act for what you want in your life and in your business. Surrounding yourself with doubt is also a big, big formula for struggle. And I know some of you, you may not have the complete support that you want from your environment or the people close to you. And this, you are, I really encourage you will see that later in the orientation. It's really about managing those so that you keep your vibe high and you do not let room for doubt. So tell me real quick, out of those ingredients, which one do you feel you're like, ooh, I may have had, a little bit of that. Now I'll have to watch myself on this one, X, Y, or Z. Underestimating myself. Wow, we've got a lot of underestimating myself. Waiting for invitations. Yes. I really want you, and I know that it's, the secret to me having designed my life for like the 3 years is really, like, I can tell you, ladies, like, we are so much more powerful beyond our belief for, what you can do, what others can do in your presence, and what you can get if you only ask. Surround by people who doubt me. Yeah. So that's going to be big. You're going to have to have big boundaries, Janelle, about, I know because, my family is a little bit doubtful sometimes, or, they are just like blaming the whole world. And the thing is, you got to show that this is a change of philosophy. The cool thing, though, is that, the people around you might change. If it's in their journey at that time, they will change probably. Because there will be like a ripple effect. So that's I can't guarantee that. It's their own journey. So some people, you don't want to change people, because the thing is, I've seen it, with my parents. Like, as soon as I worked on wealth consciousness, I was like, oh my God, I want to share with everybody in my family that piece of knowledge. But the thing is, if they are not believing in it, you can't force it into them. And the thing is, it might not be into their journey as a human on this life, to be doing that right now. So awesome. All right, lady. So now let me give you the other side, of course, so that you know how to really change that. Stepping into your power will be the solution for success. And so stepping into your power means stepping into the future you. This is really, really cool for you when you want to take decision. You want to have, thinking like, okay, the future self, whichever is 6 months, 1 year, or 3 years, what this person would choose. Because the thing is, we often see investment or bold decision as risky, but the thing is that with every risk come rewards and fruits. And so it's really about thinking what's going to be possible when you go outside of your comfort zone, when you're bold. Being committed, of course, is a must-have to have a successful business. Burning the ship is sometimes also, necessary with things that don't serve you anymore, with things that you don't want to go back to. But we are all humans, and sometimes we go back to our comfort zone or what is sounding familiar, even if it's not what serves us to be, to really go into this other direction that we want. Kind of like reminds me, of the first time when I left Europe to go to the US. It's it's really a ship. Taking responsibility is big, taking bold action, surrounding yourself with success. So if you know that your surrounding is not necessarily like high vibe, then definitely look, you have the ladies into the group. So really inspire each other into the group. Find local entrepreneur eventually, who can help you. But definitely create connections online with people who are like-minded and who will keep you in high vibe. So real quick, the program overview, we're going to have 2 modules per month. There's going to be video instruction, and you will have 2 weeks to complete those modules. I really encourage you to complete them on time, because I know by experience, of having done several group programs, like as a student, that if you are delaying yourself, if you're running late, then there's just this feeling of overwhelm that we could easily do without. So it's better if you're on time. I tend to advise, about 10 hours per week. But some of you may need more. Some of the modules may need more, especially, when it's content, etc. Then we have 2 Q&A calls per month. So it's going to be every other Thursday. It's going to be 2 hours in length, or as many for the questions, that need to be answered. I really want to tell you, ladies, the Q&A calls is really where you can get my feedback in depth, when you can get coaching, when you can analyze, and have example of coaching. And so I really, really encourage you to come on live and to really ask. You've got to be asking all the questions. There are no stupid questions. Just ask, because most of the time, your question is the same question that maybe 3 other ladies are wondering. So I really want you to come on live. We will have time, because it's a small group. We have time to get everybody's questions answered. So definitely, work on scheduling that time inside your calendar. And so for the program preparation right now, I want you to have fun. getting the support now that you will need during the program and plan what's coming up so that it's smooth, when we start in January. So, do you have children? Do you currently have a full-time job? Do you have a significant other? Do you need to set up a home office? Do you have pets? Are you going on vacation? Just plan all of that so that your children are taken care of when you need to work onto your business. If you have a full-time job, make sure that you're going to be very protective of your time outside of your job to work on your business. If you have a significant other, definitely tell them what your goal is and how they can best help you, how you want them to support you during that phase. And if you need to set up a home office, don't put handicaps or roadblocks into I want to say into your legs. It's not super sexy to say, but you see what I mean? I don't know the English expression, but don't put handicaps onto your journey. Have a normal business home office. Make sure that everything you have is working. Don't just fly. What is it like? Flying by the pants or something like that. If you're going on vacation, if it's already planned, just make sure that you may have a good connection internet, or you may take some of the work in the module with you. And so while you're into orientation, I also want you to know, it's going to be about knowing yourself. So you can journal or you can just think about it. It's like, what do you like? What do you dislike? Start noticing that on anything, because a lot of things in life could be really a message for you or could be an indication. So what do you like? Do you like to socialize with people? Do you like to have in-depth one-on-one conversation with people? Do you dislike social media? All of those, start noticing, because when we go into the business plan module 1 and then the module after, you will be able to infuse that into your business. The goal is to really have things that you love inside your business, because otherwise it just become another job. So like I said, what is your favorite way to interact? What skills do you have? Those are going to come out, into finding your voice, finding your specialty. Do you know the things that you will delegate, because it's just not going to make it for you? I don't want you, to do social media if you hate it. There are people who can do it, for 15, 20 bucks an hour and do a much better job and enjoy it. So you don't need to go through that and be in pain about that. Does that make sense, ladies? You need to let me know. I know sometimes it's hard, but I'm going to be here to deliver a message. Sorry if it's not pleasant or if it feels uncomfortable, but anything, that you want to ask me about delegating, about all of that, we are all in together to really reflect, like what Jenny did with the video she had, brainstorm out live into a video if you want, or on the calls together, we can brainstorm about what do you feel like? What do you like? What do you dislike? Also, something during the preparation I want you to do is knowing your numbers. So clean your finances, your business account, set up your accountability it has to be in mint condition, because it's going to be really hard to focus on your business if you know that the backstage is a mess. Yeah, Maya, I see your question. I'm going to answer that in the Q&A, okay? Great question. You need to also know how much time is available. So, for example, when you have a corporate job on the side, you need to know exactly, and maybe you have other activities with kids, etc. You need to make sure, how much time do you have available, because that is going to be determining how much money you can make and how many people you can help per week or per month. And like I said, previously into the group, I really want you to do the exercise in the knowing your number class, because that is really a reality check where you see okay, this is my goal and this is what my time is. And so therefore, if I need to make that amount in the time that I have, I need to be at that level of price. And so that really gives you kind of a target, where you have to be. How many of you did run the Know Your Numbers class, and do you guys have some ballpark numbers already? The link is into the group. But if you didn't do it yet, then Janet, the link is into the group. Let me check. I guess I can show my screen as well. Hold on 1 second. Alright, share the screen. It's going to be, there was a video. Here, the link is here. So here was a orientation bits that I shared with you, and the knowing, so KYN 2017. Right now, let me go back. Sharing the slides, I guess. Oh, perfect, it goes back. Can you see my slides again, ladies? And did you see the screen share before also? Because I can't be both on the chat and the screen share. Awesome. So that's where it was. So plan for success. That's what I really want you to set up, during orientation, so that it's kind of natural for you when we are going into the program. 1, punctuality. If you look at all the successful business in life, or in all the books, the wealth consciousness books that you read, punctuality is really, really important. Focusing on one thing at a time, that is also super important. And I'm going to see, I think to me the most difficult about focusing on one thing at a time is like when you're on social media. And I know it's a big time suck for a lot of us. So I'm going to share with you some of the tips that I have. Then, we are all at some point worrying. Why? Because we are all at some point getting outside of our comfort zone. So I want you to understand that fear and worry is normal, like a healthy, successful entrepreneur is feeling them. Now, the thing, though, is that they don't let fear or worry paralyze them. It's really like then, you put that worry, you're analyzing it, and then you put it into planning. One very recent example I have is, as I am in Playa del Carmen right now, and as I'll come back in February, I was kind of putting the pros and the cons of Playa del Carmen, and what I like and what I dislike. But the thing is, I could have stayed there to just be like, well, there's pros and cons, and I'm just going to decide if I want to live in Playa or not. But the thing is, automatically I was like, pros, cons, and solutions. So any cons that I didn't like about Playa, I was like, what can I do what can I plan differently and do differently so that I can transform this, and that's not a roadblock, or that's not something that is draining my energy anymore. So worry or fear is just something you need to plan about. And if you don't know how to shift that easily, then feel free to share, into the group at any point in time or on the course. Like, the group is not necessarily, a zone where like we're gonna whine or we're gonna stay into that vibe. But the thing is, we need to acknowledge when you are worried or when you have a fear, and we will help you to find, how to transform that into planning so that the fear is taken care of or the worry is taken care of and cancelled. Okay? Also, there are some moments, where I see my clients, they are thinking a lot and they're working a lot internally about them, but they need to start doing. The metaphor that I often use is the plane. And so the thing is, a plane is course correcting its trajectory, like I think it's more than 90% of the time. Why is that? Because the plane is moving, and as he is moving, he can see, the little, like, is it going too much on the right or too much on the left? So it's the same with a car, actually. If your car is sitting where it's sitting, then you have no idea if you're going to reach your destination. If the car is on the right, I don't know how to say that, but the right angle, you know. Now, as you're moving forward, then you can see like, okay, I'm going north in the city, or, you know, I'm going northeast, so I'm going into a general direction and all of that. So you have to stop thinking, like it's good to think, but at some point you got to stop doing, because by doing it, you can have a ton of feedback and data points that then will tell you the results on the market and how to be doing little tweaks to arrive to your destination. And so I am super big about productivity. Productivity is more tasks done in less time. That means that you also have more free time or much needed relaxation. So anytime you feel overwhelmed, I want you to post, you know, into the group or come on the call live and tell me like, what are you working on right now? What are the things on your to-do list? And then we can help you, you know, prioritize or bulk so that you can do more in less time, or also, you know, let go of perfectionism, because sometimes it's just perfectionism that keeps us spending way more time on something that was already good and ready to go. So let's go into the time hacks now. One, I want you over the orientation period to cut useless activities. So that might be brutal for some of you, but you know, cut useless time that you're just procrastinating, or you're spending time with people that you're like, yeah, no, that's not really gonna help. That's more draining than fulfilling. So cut useless activities. Two, create systems to organize your workflow to avoid wasted time, money, and efforts. I'm going to share with you how I bulked my time to really organize my workflow. Anytime, you know, we're going to talk about how to systemize your business, you will see that as soon as we have something that can be systemized or organized or delegated, as soon as you have a process, and so as an engineer, I see process very easily. So don't worry, you know, we'll set you up really easily there. But the thing is, as soon as there is a system, it can be delegated. And so the thing is, you're getting time back to you. Look definitely, you know, about what's eating your energy, what's eating your motivation, or what's eating your time. So over the next few days, I want you to look at that and say no to 3 things that are eating your energy, your motivation, or your time. So orientation is really about, you know, you're going to have to get into your body a lot and really look inside of you. So really pay attention to those, because in orientation, we're going to clear those things. I want you to stay into your zone of genius, because that's when it's fulfilling for you, and that's when it's easy, and that gives you energy. So do some of you see already things that are, do you have an idea? Like, oops, yeah, eating my energy, or something is eating your motivation, or something is eating your time? Let me know in the chat if you want to share. Then I highly recommend you ladies to check emails and social media at a scheduled time. The thing is, email, you know, it's very easy to see, like if you have a tab open all the time and you see this little number with the number of emails you didn't read, and it's really easy to get distracted by it. And it's really easy to think it's going to take 2 seconds to answer, and it doesn't. And so then you're like completely out of whatever task you are doing, and you just, you know, kind of fragmented your focus. So here's a rule for you. It's 2-minute rule. If it takes 2 minutes, you do it, whether it's email or something else actually. And if it takes more than 2 minutes, then you schedule it in your calendar. So scheduling things in your calendar is going to be life-saving, because the thing is, you will really realistically know how much you can take on your plate if you have the time. And as life happens, if something, you know, get bumped out, it's not just bumped out on the to-do list, it's just rescheduled at another time. Something also, I don't know if some of you know Pomodoro technique. It's basically, breaking tasks in easy to manage 25 minutes time blocks and taking breaks. So basically, you're going to be able to do things very, very focused for 25 minutes or 30 minutes. Like you're not going to be super, super rigorous about the time here, but then, just take a time, get up, move, come back. So that works very well for some people. You want to make also a list of things that you are waiting on, especially when you're delegating. You want to make sure that you have the list of things you're waiting. That list in the background. Something also that is really powerful is having 3 daily outcomes. So if you feel like you're very, very, if you feel like you're very overwhelmed, then the first thing that I recommend you is to have just, oops, hold on, did I move? No, is to really focus on only having 3 things that you want to achieve. Okay? Let me know if you see, like it just went weird on me. Can you still see my slides and hear me? Yep. Okay, awesome. So then I really want you to think about scheduling a daily energy booster. So we'll talk about biorhythm a little bit in a second as well. But the thing is, you will see, and I want really you to analyze that in orientation. You want to see, like, when do you feel tired? And sometimes it's your diet, sometimes it's just, we'll see the cycle. Sometimes it's also just, what you're doing. But I want you to notice what are daily energy booster, what are activities that fill you up. It could be petting your dog, it could be going on a walk. But I want you to have this kind of like me time scheduled every day. Could be different things every day. What I usually ask, clients is to do like a list of things they can do outdoor when it's sunny, and a list of things they can do indoor if it's raining. Take more breaks as well. You're going to see that it's a time hack because you get more focused then when you go back to work. You want to be also leveraging your biorhythm. So let me I have some notes about that because that's something really cool that I learned recently, but I wanted to share with you. So, batching is important. We'll go over that in a second. But your biorhythm is really, really critical for you to notice. Basically, you want to schedule the task that you've been most effective at the particular time into your cycle, into your woman's cycle. So we're going to talk about that because that's a time hack for your business, actually. So during your period, it's at the beginning of the week, usually you're quiet, but then estrogen slowly rises. And so as the estrogen rises up, then you become more and more optimistic. And it's easier for you to absorb new facts and learn new skills. So during your period, go slow on the beginning of the week, but you know that towards the end of the week, then you're going to have, like, that's when you want to learn things. That's when it's really nourishing for you, to learn new skills and all of that. Then week 2, you're basically ovulating. You are magnetic. And so the thing is, that's when you're at your best to do networking, to do live presentations. That's where you naturally have more charisma. So you want to be connecting with people when you're in that week of your cycle. You want to be on video, you want to talk to people, doing joint ventures and all of that. And that's when you're more brave as well. So you're up for any challenges. So that way, it's good timing also to do planning, to do goal setting, because that's when you feel like you can do anything in the world. Some ladies may have some experience of anxiety. So it's really, really important to, just like, greater stress due to the high estrogen at that period, it's really important for you to make sure that you have meditation, yoga, a little bit of exercise like brisk walking is going to help you at that time if you feel like a little bit of anxiety. Then week 3 of your cycle is usually pre-PMS. That's where you feel a brain fog. That's where usually, you don't find any idea, you can't create any content. And this is not because you don't know your stuff. It's really because it's just the hormones that are going on into your body. So that's technically where the progesterone is rising. And the thing is, you don't want to be doing content creation that week of the month. You really don't want to be, I see it in a lot of my clients where I'm like, at some point I'm like, okay, which week is it in your cycle? Because I can feel the energy being so down that week of the month for them. So, there is this time where you feel super doubtful of yourself. You don't know if you can do it. That's when the estrogen is like plummeting. And actually there is twice in the cycle a drop in estrogen. And so that's when you feel you're not as confident. That's when you have high self-doubt, high self-criticism as well. And so when it's that week happening, just hang in there because you know that next week you'll be out of that phase. So definitely, it's not the right time to go live on video. Does that make sense, ladies? I found that so interesting when I first came across this piece of knowledge, because the thing is, I was trying to be consistent every week at the beginning of my business, and then I realized, as women, we have a cycle of a month, and it's really important to be able to flow with this cycle so that you are at the most efficient and best advantage time. On PMS, so that's the last week in the cycle, kind of, both estrogen and progesterone are dropping. And so that's when you want to write. That's when you want to do a lot of introspection. So that's for the female cycle and how to use it at your advantage in your business. But like I said, there is different biorhythm as well. You have the biorhythm of like what you're eating. Are you getting up super early? Are you drinking enough water and going to bed early so that you have all your energy in the morning or not? So analyze that and realize when you feel like it's your creative time. So there is also a weekly cycle, in the sense that, for example, on Monday and Friday, I focus on my business. So on Monday, it's all about, any content creation, any business strategy. And Friday is more like joint venture, when I speak with people about podcast interviews that I do, etc. So you can create that. It might not be the same for you. You may want to be. I have clients who coach people on Friday because it's super. It's super energizing for them. So then they are super happy on all the weekend. So I want you to analyze that during the orientation. I want you to look at that biorhythm, and feel free to share in the group because it might definitely. Female of a certain age. So the thing is, that's why I was giving you the name of the hormones, because if you had another cycle in your life, then you still have the same way to describe it. You see what I mean? Like when I told you estrogen, progesterone, then you look at where you are into the cycle of life, if you are in menopause or anything like that, and how it's going to work for that specific cycle, correct? If you are having procrastination, I highly encourage you, to just look at, okay, what are the very next steps that you need to take? So break down step 1, 2, and 3 very, very little so that you can get started with those. So that's really, really important. And there's a saying, that says like eat the frog super early in the morning first. And so that's also super important. If there's something that you don't like to do, just do it first thing in the morning, because then your day is going to be so much better. So don't wait until the end, because you're always going to postpone it. So here's an example, of how I batch my work. Something that was helpful for me was to have different calendars. The different calendars, I'm not using all of them, like I don't have, for example, discovery called in pink. Now, anything where I interact with somebody is called important, and this is in red, so that I know quickly, everything that is not in red, I can do move, etc. But anything that is red is appointment. And so you can see that I break into 30 minutes the task that I have. So there's some stuff that is personal on Monday, and there's team meeting, mastermind, all of that is for me to prepare for my week. Then on Tuesday I have my coaching clients, and I had some self-care celebration with like flotation tank. On Wednesday was a lot. Yeah, this is Google Calendar. Yeah, this is Google Calendar, ladies. So you can create different calendars or different label and color. And so basically on Wednesday, you can see that it was like writing content. So sending an open campaign, it was like, maximum 30 minutes. Sending reminder to somebody, 10 a.m. Okay. Create email to somebody else, 10:30. Write email to Carmen. That was 11. So all of those were like email writing and correspondence with people. The fact that I put it at 30 minutes like that, I can tell you, like when my Mac or my phone is giving me the reminder at 9:50 that I have to go on to the task at 10, I wrap up. Because the thing is, if you're writing an email, it could take 2 hours if you don't have a hardcore deadline, So the thing is, by having all of those, I don't think you can see my little mouse thingy. But anyway, you can see on Wednesday, it's like, it's just maximum 30 minutes. That's the longest time I am allowing myself to work on that kind of activity. Now, if I finish early, of course, I'm going to go on the next task, etc. But it's really about creation, writing, and content production. I had some discovery call as well, and some live stream towards the end. But you work on any modules you see. Like for me, my the group program that I was in, New to You, I have some time, to work on some of those modules. I had Friday, like you have the me time is like that purple yoga thing, and then on Friday, you see that it was more like meeting with different people. It was chat. I have some discovery call, usually Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, meet and greet. So it was really about, joint venture and social stuff. And so the thing is, you see some white here, like in Monday, because I had other stuff. So Wednesday looks back, because what happened is that some of the Wednesday thing was on Monday. But then when I was started at 12, when I started writing, the article for the Thrive platform, like it was totally taking more time. So I kept working on that, and I moved that little break to Wednesday. So when you schedule your time at the beginning of the week, don't put it full, because if you're full, then you cannot reschedule. So what that calendar looked like on Monday was probably that Monday was full and Wednesday was pretty open. And then, you have your things that you can't move, but all the blue I can move. So then the thing that happened is that things got rescheduled as I went on during my week. So that's why it looks more busy on Wednesday, Friday, because things moved on during the week. And so most of the time, some of my clients are coming to me and saying like, well, first thing they say in the orientation is they have to purge their email and they have to unsubscribe. And so I wanted to share with you that cool secret thing that not a lot of people know about. It's called Unroll.me, and it's basically purging and unsubscribing to your emails in a very easy way. That then, you can either unsubscribe or you can put into a roll-up. And so that means that you are just, especially when I was in the US, you have Bed Bath & Beyond, you have Target, you have Walmart, you have all of those newsletters. And they are just coming once a day all together into one email that is called the Rolled Up, and you just have a preview so you kind of see what's about. So I really encourage you to use Unroll.me. Rescue Time is another app that is kind of a reality check for you to see it's basically tracking how often are different apps open into your computer, so you can see where you're spending your time or wasting time. Another one on Chrome, it's a Chrome extension. Let me see, I blank on the... It's because a lot of time, it's easy with the wall on Facebook to be drawn into reading all the things that happen. So I have the extension Newsfeed Eradicator. Let me show you real quick. So on my laptop, this is how my thingy looks like. So the Newsfeed Eradicator is an extension in Chrome that basically I do not see my wall. So if I want to catch up and procrastinate on Facebook, I take my mobile phone. But on my laptop, I do not see anything. So I only get the notification. And here is a powerful affirmation. I just get the notification, so it's not distracting me. You see? Let me see. You saw it, I think. Now I think I got a good hang about sharing the screen. So those are really good weapons for you to use. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the reward system. As you know, in the orientation I mentioned to you, I want you to have a treat list for big milestone. But I don't want you to have treats just about, when you book a client. Because the fact is, I want you to have some of the reward coming, even when you're on the path to get there. So also have treats for milestone in between to really celebrate going into the right direction. So it could be, you have added 100 people onto your email list. You have done a live stream a week. All of that. Those are milestones that you should have a little treat for. At the end of the day, when you have done what you are supposed to do, also reward yourself. The thing also is, when you are done at the end of the day, let's say you finished your activities at 3 p.m., you can reward yourself, and then you can decide, well, okay, do I want to stop and do something else, go on with your life, or do you want to work again? But if you work again, it's a choice. It's not that never-ending to-do list that is, over your head. So think about it. When you have set your to-do list for the day, then you can, have, I don't know, some of you have other courses going on, so you can reward yourself by just listening to other courses, whatever you'd like, but I want you to know that you have rewarded yourself before going on to bed. And also what's really powerful for the brain is kind of like a neuro hack. Make a chain of cross to set up habits. So have a calendar in front of you and put a cross each day that you've completed your mindset, your reading, your reward. Because the thing is, your brain, and as you go, you're going to have a lot of cross on your calendar, and as you go, your brain is not going to want to cut or break that chain of marks. So that is a bit of a neuro hack that your brain is going to help you. As soon as you see that you have 7, 8, 9 cross, you'll be like, or X's, you'll see that you're like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do it, even if you don't feel like it. Also, spread the word for accountability. You want to be able to really have supportive, significant others, supportive children. Like, make sure that you tell people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That will help you achieve your goals, and also that will help you reward yourself. If you know that self-care or rewarding yourself is not a big thing, you need to get an accountability buddy for that. Definitely, schedule me time and social time as well. Those are really, really important, ladies. It's not about working 12 hours a week into your business. Let me know in the chat, if there are some things that you're like, yep, this is what I'm going to have to watch for. This is what the ladies in the group are going to have to watch me for. So here is an example of a treat list. Just make a simple document. You can have, your goal number one. It could be a financial goal. It could be another goal. You have your treat list, and then you can have different milestones building up to that goal. You definitely encourage you, to have a reward for each client signed up. But, when I was really big into appearing to the media, I also had a reward for each media output, any article that was published or any podcast interviews that I did. So it depends on your strategy. The thing is, you want to be focusing on your strategy. And I know, in the orientation packet, there are some questions about masculine versus feminine. So I wanted to help give a little bit of insights about what is the masculine versus feminine energy into a business. So, it's not bashing masculine men, but the thing is, in a masculine business, it's all about, profit and power. It's all about working until you're super tired. It's about being competitive. It's about having external results, external sign of wealth. It's very, very hierarchic. It's based on fear of lack. So a lot of business, that are very masculine energy are telling you, this is expiring soon, or things like that. Now the feminine energy into your business is more about your intuition, is more about creative. So you go inside yourself to know what is the business direction that you want to have. It's more about being conscious, having fulfillment, being of service, finding your passion, your purpose, being transparent, collaboration, cooperation, having a holistic approach into your business, feeling that enough is for all, that there is no lack whatsoever. So that's really, really important. So in the orientation package, when I talk to you about masculine versus feminine energy, that's kind of like the energy that I want you to think about. Because in your business, you can receive. Instead of always giving, you can also, receive and have a business based on exchange. And so quickly, before we go into Q&A, but if you have any questions, start typing them into the chat. The thing, or just say I have a question and we'll get you on. Hopefully the network is going to enable us to do that. The thing is, you have several bonuses that you have into the welcome email that you received. You have a surprise bonus, transform fear and doubts to confidently start your own business. And you have a bonus number one, which is start your online coaching business with confidence. If you're not clear about what your ideal client is, or what is your niche, or what are your skills, there are 10 questions into that bonus that are really interesting to start talking about what you like to do, what people come to you for, all of that. So if you're not clear about your niche, I highly recommend you to listen to bonus number one. Then, of course, as we want to have more feminine energy into your business, you want to have more intuition-based decision. Bonus number two is going to help you also realizing where is fear versus where is intuition, so that you have better guidance and make the best decision for your business. Something also, a book that I recommend, especially if you're into journaling, is Writing Down Your Soul: How to Activate and Listen to the Extraordinary Voice Within by Janet Conner. It's kind of a weird process. You call it whatever you want, if it's the universe or God or the soul. But basically, for having done it, and I have several people also who have done it, you're writing into your journal, and at some point, you hear a voice, and it has answers and it has messages for you. So whether it's your soul answering or God answering, definitely, if you like journaling, I highly encourage you to have this book, because then there is a conversation going on, and it's really, really interesting, because you write something and you're like, wait a second, that doesn't come from me. And so then you can listen to the message. Bonus number 3 is all about storytelling. So I highly encourage you ladies to start doing that, because we're going to know better about each other. And when we get into the module about standing out, you will have done this exploratory research type of research. So definitely, there is some questions and some homework into this bonus. It's perfect timing for you to listen to it slowly and do the homework and post into the group about it. And then, bonus number 4, you will get what you need to do every day. That's really good for organizational as well. The books that were recommended, the top 6 were recommended into the welcome email. And then I know, some of you have already gone through all of this. So for books, here is the next batch that I would highly recommend you. Loving What Is by Byron Katie. Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Waddles. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I've already recommended some of you this book. The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. And here, very quickly, I want you to think about money-making activities that you want to do every day. We are going to pile up. So tomorrow is not, the day where you're going to do the 6 of them. You will see in the module, we are going first, into putting that activity of mindset. The next module is going to be about growing your list, and then nurturing your list, and then making offers, and then mastering your sales process. So we don't worry about it. We'll go and build on every other week. And here I gave you some example. Mindset could be listening to the Science of Getting Rich. Growing your list could be sharing some freebie on social media. Nurturing your list could be sending a newsletter. Making offers could be a free assessment. Mastering the sales process is definitely awesome when you practice role playing. And learning about accounting is kind of like the number one thing you need to do to educate yourself on finances. So basically, the philosophy that I really want you to think about over the next months together in this program is that simpler is better. And so all the time, I'm going to try to be, hey, this sounds kind of complicated. How can we break it down? Proactivity is super encouraged, of course, but know that there is a process that is used in this program, and the order of the modules are set in a specific, efficient way to get your business foundation set up. So there are things, that you can do already, like the storytelling, kind of finding your stories. But, if you put the cart before the horses, it's just like it's going to be more work for you. So trust the process and trust the way and the order that the modules are designed in. This is, going also for number 3. Point number 3 is one of my clients was telling me when we were mid-package, she was telling me, oh yeah, I realized that I wanted to do branding in the website, on session 2. And I realized that basically I was trying to put decors and decorate my house before even the walls were up. So remember that metaphor, because it's really, really big. You don't want to be wasting your time trying to think about everything that you want to decorate if you don't have the walls up. So that's why there is a certain order into the module so that you're building your foundation properly. All right, so let's go into Q&A time, ladies. Let me scroll back. I know there are some questions about VA, but I want to make sure I'm not missing one. And if you have any question, now is the time. So, okay, so I would love to have a VA, Maya, but I have no idea what to delegate. So VAs, so tell me, what would be the things that you don't like to do first? The thing is, with my VAs, the first thing that I delegated was social media. What you can also delegate, some people prefer to delegate things like technology, or back end. So here are several things that you can delegate. The onboarding process of your clients. But the thing is, it took me a little bit of time before I delegated that, because I wanted to have my process square, because it's really hard to explain to somebody what they have to do if you don't have a process. And so after, my few first clients, I was able to see like, okay, this is what happens every time I have a client. Therefore, I was able to write instruction and to delegate. So now somebody, is setting up the Google, sending the emails, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that anymore. But the thing is, if you're just starting and you don't have any clients, you can delegate social media. Social media is like, you are going to write a piece of content. I was writing my newsletters, and then my social media manager was getting those newsletters and creating snippet of, creating the picture in Canva, creating the little text. So I had, for like a year, I had a social media manager doing that. And then I came across SmarterQueue, and SmarterQueue is automatically reposting things. And so I told my social manager at that time to look at like, what are the best social media posts that we had over the last year, and to repurpose them. So that's what I delegated. I am pretty techy, so the thing, is like, when you delegate, you have to be super organized yourself, because that person is waiting for you, and usually they need to schedule you into their calendar. So it's not like you're showing up on Thursday at 3 p.m. telling them to create something, to create a webinar for you and an email sequence for Friday morning. So that requires, having a VA requires a lot of organization in your business, so you know when to be connected with them. And so hold on, I delegated that. What did I delegate? What else? So social media, onboarding, you can delegate, doing, all the website. So somebody did my website, and then I had somebody, WordPress person, to do any changes into the website. I can do them. But the thing is, it was costing me $25 for somebody to do it for me. So, I'd rather be coaching a client during that time. And the thing is, often, they could be faster than you. So WordPress is also something like all the website. Some stuff it worked and it didn't work. At some point, like, I tried delegating copywriting and it didn't work, because I wasn't happy with the results I was getting. I also had a graphic designer, and the graphic designer is pretty cool, but I am more about efficiency. The thing is, like, one day there's one freebie of mine that cost me $100 to do the workbook, because it had so many fields that you can enter stuff in. And you know how sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I was really like, well, it's not worth it. For me, it's not worth it to have all of that. All of my, I am a digital nomad myself. I don't care if a PDF is fillable or not. Most of the time it didn't work. So what I do is I just open a Word document with like notes about blah, blah, blah. And I write my notes or my comments or my reflection into the Word document on my Google Drive. So that way, I don't have to worry about that. What else? Oh, something big that you can delegate is scheduling the newsletters into your CRM system. So it like formatting it. You write your newsletter, for example, but then somebody else is putting the bold and colors and stuff. You have a little bit of training to do for them to know what you like, because sometimes I had newsletters coming back and I'm like, okay, this is circus, so that's not going to work. But the thing is, anytime I have a new VA, because I test a lot of them, it's not necessarily easy to find a great one. So the thing is, I was doing videos. So that way, when somebody else come on board, I was able to share the videos and they would be up to speed with what works. So the way to know what you want to delegate to your VA, first one is definitely to be clear on what you don't like to do, like something that you're not good at. So for you, like if you know someone who knows really well websites, then just delegate to them the website part. But I don't want you to be, formatting a newsletter and playing with your CRM when you could be creating content or creating a webinar. Something that sometimes I had, it depends on my VA, but some of my VAs, I was comfortable sending them my content to do slides for me. But recently, I've just doing my slides because I've been flying by the seat of my pants. And so I had so many webinars recently. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to input the content directly into the slides. What helps, though, is that, I was using templates. So basically, every time I had a webinar, I had the same template, and it was just about changing the text. So always think about that, ladies. As soon as you do something, how can you reuse what you did so that you are not redoing the same things and, like especially formatting of slides, etc. You want it to be super easy and plug and play. And then there was another question about VA. Yeah, I know Maya, right? Jerry is doing it, so you can definitely ask your husband. Yes, SmarterQ is like Meet Edgar. I think it's cheaper. I think it's $25, I think, per hour. So also the thing, is, so I was about paying more than $25 per week for my social media manager to create content. And so at some point I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay SmarterQ. We're going to plug that in. And then my social media manager is doing any design, image design for me, so she could do new things. So each time when you have a VA, you want to really think about, like, how can I optimize their task as well? And so the way I had segmented my VA is like, I had VA in the Philippines who are really good at following orders and instruction, but outside of that, it would be really challenging for them to take decisions. Just their culture, nothing against, So the thing is, I had, usually a VA in America, and that person would be able to do one-time based project. And as soon as she had a process, then we would delegate to somebody in the Philippines. So she's like kind of project manager, setting up system. And as soon as she has a repetitive task, I don't want to pay her. At that time, it was like $25. I was like, well, I don't want to pay you $25 to do a repetitive task when we can have somebody on the team at, let's say, 5, 10, or 15 doing it. So that kind of answers the question of Janelle as well. So Janelle, what can they do? Did what I said answer that, or do you have any specific question? If anybody, is wondering about a specific task, just put the specific task into the chat and I will let you know yes or no, or what to watch for. How do you hire a good one? So it's, hiring a good one means that you're going to test them basically for a month. During my launch, I had a VA who was $50 an hour. And so the thing is, there was still some mistakes that were made during my launch. So I didn't feel like it was worth the price. I think that at $50, people should be really making sure that everything is working well. So you just test, because you have a good one means that one, they know their job, and two, that means that the communication is flowing well. So I tend to prefer to have somebody who works for themselves, because what I've noticed with VA agencies is that they don't really care, because they just know that if they don't work with you, they're going to have another. I mean, of course, you're going to give them bad reviews, but it's just like they're probably going to be reassigned to another client. So you have to try. And I know it's really difficult at the beginning, because you don't want to, you may not want to go into like a 10-hour 10-hour contract, because you may not have 10 hours to give to your VA or the budget for that. So what I recommend you is to really go on Upwork, be very specific about the job position that you have, and be very specific about what's important for you or not. So as I worked, for more than a year now with VAs, I've noticed what I'm really picky about, and I have a one page where I describe things that is going to be a deal breaker for me and that are really, really important for me, so that any new person who comes on board, I'm like, okay, here is what's going to happen, and you got to be living by those rules, or because I had some people very quickly with my VAs, I was like, especially because we were on another time zone, I was like, well, if you don't hear from me for 5 minutes, just clock out, because I'm not going to answer you, and then clock back in when I chat with you. And I was trying to have some common zones together. And I remember one day I had a VA coming in, and he didn't clock out because he was waiting. And I'm like, well, if you're waiting on my feedback, no, that's not going to work. He billed me 4 or 5 hours, and I was like, no, you probably did something else at that time, So you weren't really waiting for me. And he was probably double billing to clients at the same time. So that's the thing that you're learning on the spot. Things that are important for you or not important for you, those are very, very personal preferences. But you definitely want to try for at least a month. 2 months is better, just because remember that there is always a learning curve with people. So you don't want to be, too harsh. It's two humans working together, and so you want to make sure that you are also training them, because maybe your instruction weren't clear or things like that. So you want to make sure that you're training them correctly, and that you're developing your communication style with them. At the beginning, it's rough. It's like you feel like you need to say a lot and all of that. But as they know you, I could see it, a lot on my on the email. Formatting. At the very beginning, I was constantly, and I was like, oh my God, why am I not doing it by myself? It's really the equivalent of doing it by myself. But the thing is, as we kept working together, my VA started to really see what I was always telling them, and to really get better at the editing and formatting. And so then very easily she was producing great outcome, great results. So for VAs in the Philippines and Asia, I tend, just because I used to work free up, I was most of them are in Asia, but you can find some people in India. They charge between $5 and $20. $25, you start having somebody with a US background or Canadian background. It can go up to $50 or $100 an hour. So you want to make sure also that you are segmenting what are the help that you ask. So for example, I wouldn't pay $100 an hour somebody who is formatting my emails. But somebody who needs to do something very complicated on technical, etc., yes, I would be able to pay them $100 an hour, because I recognize the skills. So you have to make sure so that you may have two VAs, one who is just like a super automated task, and one who needs to have more reflection more thought process engaged, creating stuff. You can also segment whether they are back end or up front on the house or front of the house. So if they are back end and technical, they're going to cost a little bit more. If they are customer support, you want them to be impeccable because they are going to connect with your clients directly. So that's another way to segment. Do you have any other questions, ladies? Any questions, on this presentation or any advanced question, any other topic questions? How do I communicate with my VAs? Skype a lot of time. I tried Slack as well. So Slack is, because the thing is when you start having a lot of VAs, you can either do a group chat on Skype, or you can do Slack. It's the same. Now also for my launch, I had so many tasks that we worked on Asana. And so now if I was to redo it, I would work directly in Asana, I think. Because Asana, you can schedule their task and your task. You can bounce tasks to each other, assign, so she had a task to edit my newsletter. Then she did it, then she assigned the tasks to me. Sorry. So that means that I had to review it, and then I assigned her back so she can schedule it. Yeah, you're going to get the recording, Janelle. So Janet, Asana is free, and you have also a chat part on it. And actually the chat is dedicated to each task, which make it easier because when you have several tasks that you're doing, then you can just talk about, this is, the question I have about this task, and this is another question. And you can have several people. So now, it was a bit, I would recommend having somebody who knows how to do Asana. And the thing is, with the VA I had in Asia, they were kind of like, well, I had to do Asana myself. And I thought well, no, really, I want you to do it. But the thing is, when I had my VA at $50 an hour, she was taking care of all of that, which felt awesome. So that's the kind of difference, you're going to get in price and culture. I was the one sending the meeting invite to my VAs in Asia when we had to connect, on Skype or share. It's actually not Skype. I would use Zoom because I would record it for them to have it later. Because if we share my screen, if I show them something, then they would have Zoom recording. But my $50 an hour VA was actually the one who was like, okay, I'll schedule the meeting. So it just felt so supported, It was just so nice because you could really feel that she was taking care of all the administrative stuff. So that was really, really cool. I also had a VA for a long time to welcome people into my Facebook group. Now, there is a little button that says let's welcome your new members. And so now it's not worth having somebody tag everybody because it's tagged automatically. Any more questions, ladies? Any advanced questions? So if anything comes up, don't hesitate to put it into the group. You can do a recording. If you prefer doing video, you can type. You can share documents if you want me to review something. But really, this time is for orientation. Remember your intention at the beginning of the presentation. And the thing is, it's about preparing yourself so that you have the optimal environment for you to thrive in when we start doing the modules, okay? So that way you feel like everything is on your side and you don't have any roadblock or handicap slowing you down. So I wish you, happy holidays or happy end of the year to you all. I will be answering the questions you have into the group or any weekday. But yeah, I wanted to let you know as well, I will probably send an email to get feedback from you and to make sure that you have all that you need and that you feel completely supported into this program. Okay, so watch for that coming into of the coming weeks before we start the module. All right, ladies, have a beautiful rest of your day. Sending you lots of love. If you have any questions, post them into the group. I'll answer them in the next 24 hours. Have a great day and happy end of the year. Bye-bye.